So cool. Hi, I'm Chris McGinnis. Another behind the scenes chat of my latest movie, The Burning of Warren County. I have a lot to talk about for this movie, so I'm going to try to go like scene by scene. But let's start with the original idea. The original idea for this movie started in 2020. I had the costume kind yeah, the costume was pretty much as it is. The general not the general idea. The idea always was I go into the attic and I find this box. Like that was the original idea was like I found out that my uncle was a serial killer cuz I find this camera with tape like all that. But I tried to do I tried to film it differently cuz I started filming it. There's a dog. I started filming it 2 years ago. Didn't like I was like, this sucks. Like, this is lame. So I scrapped it, and then I did other stuff. Then I remember, like, I did Willow Grove, and then I went back to The Burning of Warren County, which was always the name. Couldn't come up with a good idea. Then I did Jessica Kills, went back to The Burning of Warren County, couldn't come up with anything. Me and the love of my life, Beth, we did I'll Take Care of the Cats. Then I came back to The Burning of Warren County again, and I was like, all right, let's do this movie. So I was like, locked myself in my apartment and just wrote and came up with what you see now. And it did change because I actually filmed an original intro to it on Thanksgiving weekend that's not in the movie at all. Except no, well, what's the beginning? Let's go. Oh, this. The scene where you hear the gunshot and it's my dad that killed himself, and I'm laying there, and he's laying with the pool of blood, and the attic stairs are down. That's all. Well, first I shot that back in November, 4 months before I shot the rest of the movie. But this is all like a sign, like the attic, because he was obviously up in the attic first planning stuff before he came down and committed suicide. So then I wrote some of the movie. Okay. So then I wrote it, and then I was like, it opens with me going to his funeral. So I shot it at this cemetery in Hackettstown. Huge, huge cemetery. It's fucking hilly. It goes everywhere. So I shot the scenes of me walking down, which looked dope. The three trees, I love that. But then I walked to my car. Where you see me in the movie walking to my car is not where I originally shot that because I had it at a different spot. So I'm setting up the camera and like I'm making sure it's right. And I'm like, all right. And it's a big cemetery, huge cemetery. What happens? A car comes up right behind me and somebody gets out with flowers to put on like their loved one's grave, which is like literally like right next to me. First off, I felt like a douchebag because I'm shooting a movie in this fucking cemetery while they're like paying respect to their loved one. And I was like, but this place is so big. Of course you're right next to me. And luckily, Beth, the love of my life, called me so I could play it off, and I was talking to her on the phone then. And then I was like, all right, let me go to a different spot. So I went to a different spot. But that cemetery stuff is some of my favorite shots. It's very big looking, and I'm small, and it's fucking dope. And that car I'm in, that was my It was my dad's old car. My car shit the bed, and then my dad promised me that car when he got his new truck, which was like 8 months ago. And finally, I got it when my car shit the bed. But my mom was pissed when she saw this because she was like, "You're already fucking smoking cigarettes in the car." I was like, "Hey man, it's a movie. I gotta do what I gotta do." And then it opens up with so that's in my parents' bedroom. The next scene is in my parents' bedroom, and I love that. Like I opened the door to test it out, and I just cracked the door, and the door just slowly opened, and I watched that happen. I was like, "Oh, I'm using it." I did not write that. And what's up, Lem? So that's the scene you see the door because I was like interpreted as my dad killed himself in the movie, but it's all a giant setup. He's still fucking with me. He was a horrible father. After death, he's still fucking with me. So that watching that door just slowly open up and come open is him inviting me in to his trap. And that's why I look kind of like, oh, like interesting. And then when you see me walk to the window and then I look, and these are real pictures. That one picture that I kind of shift a tiny bit is my mom on the wedding day. My grandma and my grandpa are behind her. I think of that as my dad put that there specifically to fuck with me because my character never met his mother. She left after I was born, so I was told that she left. My father told me that. So I kind of look at it, and then I go to the closet, and I open the closet, which was a sick shot. This is why I love filming with a GoPro, because the indoor of the closet has like these shoe racks, and I was like, oh, I can just stick the camera like kind of like right there, so when I open the door, it'll see me. Like I didn't plan that one out. That was fucking dope. But then I talk in the closet, and then I look up, and you see the shot of the attic because I hear something. The shot of me pulling the attic door down in the attic, and the camera's right on. I had that planned out. Like I knew that because I've been in the attic a billion times. So I was like, oh, I can put the camera right there. So when I pull the attic down, it'll come. I was like, that was the coolest fucking shot I've ever pulled off. And then crawling up the stairs, you come up to a rat in a rat trap. That's symbolic because my character Chris is literally entering a trap. This was a setup, after death setup. And you find out that like his dad used to kill rats and make him eat them while he ate pizza. But that was like, that's what it is. Like he sees it and it's like, this is a trap. And then he crawls up and then he goes in there and he finds, oh dude, I love it. The picture that's hanging there, the main picture that you see constantly in the movie, is of my mom and dad when my mom was 17 and my dad was 18. And they've had that picture. My dad's had that hanging up in the basement forever. And I was like, I'm using that in the movie. Because it'll give a face. Instead of just talking about my dad and my mom, you see faces. I loved using that. So I got to use that. And then he looks down. He sees this box that says, I hate you, everywhere. Here it is. What's left of it. It's still sitting here. And then I open the box. I find the mask, the robe, the bag that he doesn't know what happened in that bag at first. And he pulls out a journal, and it's his mom's journal. Her last entry talking about how she's going to get the fuck out of there. But she doesn't know that her husband, my dad, knows everything she's doing. Like, he's a psychopath. So he wrote on the next page, Like when she went to was so like the point of that was so when she went to go write in her journal again, she oh fuck, and she would read what he wrote, and that's when he like murked her. So I'm reading that. You can see in that scene, my nose is like Rudolph red because that attic was. I filmed this in February, so it was so. My attic is either super cold or super hot, and it was super cold up there. My nose was running. My nose was fucking beet red. But he finds the journal, then he finds the camera, and he plays. Which that was the first thing I shot for this movie. Was the shit you see on the video camera. I wear glasses now, but in that scene, I have to put the mask on and the costume, so I'm taking my glasses off. I couldn't see a fucking thing, especially with the mask with the cloth over the eyes. Couldn't see a goddamn thing. So that was hard, but it worked out good. And I knew that I was gonna cut between that and then my character watching the video camera. So when I was doing that scene, I knew I can like stop and rearrange like whatever. Because I knew I was going to cut it back and forth. But that worked out good. My mom got mad at me when I told her about the movie. She was like, "You're going to light a baby on fire in the movie?" I was like, "Yeah. It's called The Burning of Warren County." But then I was like, trying to do it, and I was like, "I can't light this on fire because it's whatever." And I was like, "Oh, I'll just have the character put it into this bag and smash against the wall." So I told my mom, like, "Mom, I didn't light the baby on fire." She's like, "Oh, good." I'm like, "I put it in a bag and smashed it against the wall instead." She was like, "You're fucked up." She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I was like, "I don't know. Just trying to make a good movie." So that scene was fun. That was the first scene to film. And then when I throw up after watching the footage, that's like chicken noodle soup. I had a can right next to me that I like put in a bunch of my mouth, and which made me want to throw up. What comes after that? Oh yeah, and then I wipe my mouth on the bag, which is the bag that was used to kill my unborn sibling. And I realized throw it, and then the letter falls out that says "Meet your mommy," because I obviously never met my mom in the movie. And I pull it out, and there's directions. Those are real directions to a hidden cemetery. There's a fork in a road, and then there's like this little tiny cemetery in the middle that you gotta walk through woods. I was originally gonna shoot there, but it just seemed unnecessary. I've learned my lesson making other movies that I shoot too much and then I don't end up using any of it, or it just drags on. There's a lot of long movies nowadays. There's a lot of long movies nowadays, and I was like, I don't want to make a long movie. This movie's 22 minutes and 8 seconds, and that was long enough. And that was literally everything that was in the movie was necessary. But so you see the letter, which is real directions, and then I go to a spot which is literally that way in the woods next to my apartment. I went out. I filmed it on President's Day in whatever President's Day was, February 19th, 18th. I went out the day before on Sunday, and I dug the hole while on the phone with my girlfriend Beth. So I dug the hole, and then Monday morning I woke up at 5 o'clock. Went out at 6. I had 10 gallons of blood. I had them in like a duffel bag. So I had like 5 gallons in one bag. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 gallons in one bag. And then 3 in my backpack. And then I was carrying like other equipment. And you got to kind of walk up and then around and go. It's a hike. That sucked so bad. I kept having to stop like, holy fuck, switch hands. So I get there, I put this plastic in. Well, no, first is the rib cage thing I bought for $80, which is a really nice rib cage thing that's hanging on my wall right now. So I shoot that, and then it's like, now is the big thing that I've been worrying about. The fireball blowing out. I was like, how am I going to do that? So what I did was after I did my reaction to seeing the bones, I took that out. I know I think I kept it in. I put a towel over it, and I just hosed that towel down with lighter fluid, and then I had like a piece of cloth coming up out of the hole next to me, soaked in lighter fluid. So when you see me sitting there and I'm looking, I have a you can I hate saying it, but now you can tell. I have a lighter next, like right on my in my right hand, and I'm looking like, and I light and had no idea what was gonna happen, but I lit it, boom, fireball. I felt my fucking face on like heat up. Woo! My reaction is 100% real on that. Like I jumped back, so I was like, holy fuck! But if you slow mo, you can see when I jump back, you can see I have a lighter in my hand. I was like, holy fuck! And then I'm selling it, like get the shot. And then I get up and I have like a bottle of water. I'm dumping water. I'm like, oh god, get out! Smoke going everywhere. Cause Home Depot is right there too. Like I'm in the woods by Home Depot, so it's like I don't need the cops coming. Do that, then I gotta stop, take everything out of the hole, put plastic into the hole, and then fill it up with the fake blood, which is what you see in the holes, all that fake blood. And I had to hurry because I think there was a hole in the plastic, so it was leaking into the ground, and it was just slowly leaking down. But then this was the scene that I was the most worried about because the Friday before I shot this on Monday, the Friday, I was literally at my job going, how the fuck am I supposed to pull this here? I'm supposed to get my head grabbed and jammed into the pool of blood. How am I going to do that? I was going to hire a buddy of mine for like, pay him like $50. Just come meet me here, 3 minutes of work and you're done. But I was like, it's not my style. I'm DIY till I die. How can I do this? And I was like thinking about it. I'm like, well, if I edit it the right way, I could use one of the dummies I have and dress him up in my outfit. So I wear the creepy mask and stuff. So when I go over and touch the blood, and then it's me in the other costume reaching down, and then I got a shot of just my feet kicking, and then it can cut to the person holding the dummy, which my co-star, we should give him props. Good job, dude. Did a killer job. So he was face down in the water, and I'm just holding his head down, and then just cutting it quick. Just that's why it goes cut, 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 cut. And then the music, I go with the music, and the music stops, and then it's me in the pool of blood, face down, and then I pop out. But the thing that sucked is I filmed the dummy first in the blood while I'm wearing the costume, so I got that shot. Like, all right, now I have to put back on my black pants, my suit jacket, and my shirt, covered in blood. It was 32 degrees out when I shot that. So now took off my clothes. I still have my underwear on, and I have to put on this wet, bloody shirt, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, it's cold. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm just drenched, and I'm like, fuck, dude, like, let's just get this over with. And then I set the camera, and then I just had to, like, go and dunk my head in it, like, wait, and then pop out. And then I have to get, like, 9 different angles. You only see, like, 2, but you have to get enough angles, so I'm doing that. Oh, that was terrible. The funny part of that is walking back out of the woods, out of that little entrance, and down to my apartment, covered in blood. My face is covered in blood. My hair, everything's covered in blood. And I'm walking with a dummy, my cameras, and I'm just like, hey, good morning. And I'm trying to get in my apartment. Then I have to go back and get more stuff, and then go back to get more stuff. That was the hardest thing I've ever filmed in my life. So worth it, though, because it looks so good. So then I go back up. The last day of shooting was the attic at the end, where I run up. And that day sucked, too, because it was freezing in that attic. That was the coldest it was in the attic. And I was like, well, I have to put, like, so I had to, like, put fake blood and, like, splash on my face again to look continuity. And then that's when I had lines. where I'm talking to my dad in the picture, and I'm saying like, "I hope you're burning in hell, you like soulless cunt." And then I drag the box to the attic and exit, like down the stairs. I drag it, and then I walk back. But then you see the song, boom, and the costume man is standing there. God damn it! That was him again. How did I do it? I dressed him up in the demon costume, which is called a demon costume, and I used this. This is a 9-foot tripod that comes up, but I put this thing on it. So I hooked it on the back of him like this, and he was dressed up in the costume, and that's how I pulled off having 2 people in one scene. And then the attic door slams, and he's standing behind me. Set that up. I turn around, nobody's there, and then I take the lighter fluid, which I spent 2 weeks washing that fucking thing out with water to make sure that there was nothing left in it. Because then I spray the actual water onto the picture, but then when I'm spraying it around the attic, I close it because I'm like, I'm not really going to spray water because it'll leak down. So I'm doing that, and then I dress up in the costume again, and then I start doing... I don't know if anybody's seen the 1999 remake House on Haunted Hill with Chris Kattan, Taye Diggs, Ali Larter. I love that movie. There's a scene of the doctor walking, and he's walking super creepy. And I wrote in my script, walks like the doctor from House on Haunted Hill. So when you see the demon guy walking down the attic, like, I was walking like fast, and then I stopped, slow, fast, and then I edited it, cut it, and like sped it up, slow it down, sped it up, slow it down, and then jump. And then I had one take to fall back onto the box with the top off and the lighter fluid to make sure you see that I get soaked in the lighter fluid water. And I was like, all right, here we go. I had this camera that I'm looking at you right now set up, and then I had another GoPro set up on the side, and it's wood. So I was like, fuck, here we go. And I just fell backwards, and I was like, oh, but I made sure I dumped it. Like, oh, fucking soaking wet again. Now I'm freezing. And then did that. Did my scenes like that, then cut, and then got into the costume again. And did those scenes, and then the flaming rat. Dude, look at his nuts. Look at those things. But then, okay, the thing, like I said, I wear glasses. So I had to take them off when I put the mask on. So I was like, this is sketchy. I don't like fucking with fire inside. This is my parents' house, too. So I'm like, dude, I gotta light this right on fire. So, like, I had a wet towel on the ground. So when I light it, and then you see me pick it up and hold it. And you kind of see me look at it, too, like, because I can't really see. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's a big flame. And then you kind of see me toss it, which I did throw it, but I cut it. It lands on a wet towel, and then I wrap it up. This thing was so cool looking, but now it's all burnt to a fucking crisp. And then I got the pictures of the burned down house from Google. Me and Beth does the voiceover of the diary of my mom and the ending. She did the voiceover at the ending when she was super sick. So her voice sounded kind of fucking gnarly. It was rad. It was so rad. I was like, when I heard her talk, that's when I was like, can you do the voiceover for the ending right now? Like, send it to me. And she did. Props to her. And then the mask, which I think could be like a famous fucking mask. There was only one of a kind. I made that myself. It doesn't exist anymore. Because the credits... The original ending was the mask sitting in a pile of ashes that it survived the fire. And I was like, that's lame. I'm like, The movie's called The Burning of Warren County. Let's just fucking light that fucker on fire. So I went into my bathroom in my apartment, dumped fake blood in the bathtub, put the mask down, sprayed some lighter fluid on it, and then just lit it and filmed it. And I was like, oh, that's right. And it ended up being the poster for the fucking movie. Every post I have is that with a Chris McGinnis film, Burning of Warren County. But I do kind of regret burning that mask, but the shots are so cool. The credits alone just look so rad with that mask on fire. It was fucking awesome. But this movie was the best movie I've ever made. Storytelling wise, it was the best story. It's a legitimate story. Like, it's not just me walking around being creeped out like some of my other movies. This one has a story. I think I did my best acting in it, my best writing in it. It looked dope. The attic looked dope. The outside with the fire and stuff looked dope. The cemetery looked dope. Everything looked dope. I'm super proud of this movie. I already have an idea for the next movie. But I think that's it. I don't think I forgot any good stories. Oh, there was a story. When I was filming in the attic, I would close... Even before the attic closed, I would close it in case my mom had to go in her bedroom because it went into her bedroom. But then I needed to get down, and I'd be like calling my mom, and she wouldn't answer. And I was like sitting up in the attic, like, I guess I'm just hanging out up here for a while. Then she'd finally answer. She's like, "You need to come down." I'm like, "Yeah, I need to come down. I gotta take a piss." She's like, "Okay." Then she's like, "I can't reach the thing," and I would have to like put my foot on the door and push it down so she can grab it. It's fun. Making movies is so fun. And my parents appreciate it now. Like, at first they thought I was an idiot. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're making movies? Now when I told them when I was doing this, I'm making a movie in the, like, I need to use their attic. They were like, okay, yeah, like, cool. I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm going to use that picture of you and Mom when you guys were 17, 18. He's like, all right, yeah, like, yeah, fuck yeah. I was like, hell yeah, dude. So they finally get it. But, yeah. Shout out to my co-star. Peace.